All right, looks like we're up.
We are live here. It's Hannibal from the Hannibal TV on YouTube and Gene Sticko, former member of the U.S. Air Force, correct?
Correct.
And he is on Wicked Alien, the Wicked Alien YouTube channel. And today we have a very special guest, John Bell, who has captured a lot of unusual footage of UAPs around his house in Florida. And we're going to get into that. But you've had a very busy week, Gene, with Lou Elizondo. You had dinner with him and you made a quick appearance on a podcast with him. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was Monday. I had a sort of last minute, opportunity. Somebody, a mutual acquaintance, said Lou was in the area and interested in having dinner. They'd been sort of advocating for me in the book, my father-in-law's work, Engineering Infinity, and he was certainly one of the figures that, for me, it was a great opportunity to get it in front of him, to kind of lay out what I've seen and found so far, and see what he might think about it. And yeah, and over the course of that, we got the I got the alert on my phone about disclosure tonight, which I often am on in the back room there and contribute to during the show. And I know they were big fans of Lou and big supporters, and so I broke in their broadcast while we were sitting there, and Lou gave a rousing speech that just set off a firestorm unexpectedly, and launched me in the middle of other conspiracies and whatnot, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, for as far as for my purposes, it was nice to meet him. We had a good chat about the military, personal lives, things like that, and then being able to share my father-in-law's work with him, and what I see in it, and what I'm researching in it, and what I think it might do for disclosure. And he seemed to get it right away, and hopefully has the opportunity to pass it around and share it with others, to see if it's a path where they're able to pursue. One of my main charges has been, let's get some of the questions Congress is asking reframed from UAPs, UFOs to science. And my position is this is a consolidated book on the science of a UFO as it's described in there, and relates to U.S. government programs. So let's ask about some lineage and history. And yeah, and then otherwise it was a busy week. A day or two later, news came out about Age of Disclosure finally getting out there, debuting, premiering, I guess, in November. So it looks like there's excitement and, again, more controversy around that happening. And
November 21st, I believe.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But I'm excited today about John Bell and talking to John. I came across his things a couple of weeks ago, or maybe actually within a week. Um, all the days are blurring together now, and I just thought the videos were fantastic, and I sent them to you, and you said let's get this guy on and ask him about it.
Yes, and before we get to him, I just got to say, did the Three Eye Atlas come up at all in your conversations with Lou Elizondo? Because I haven't heard him say anything about it yet. I know you're not that interested, but I
Yeah.
have heard this week they're saying that there's actually evidence that it's decelerating a little bit, just by a small amount, which would show that it's definitely not a comet if it is decelerating. It could be some other type of object or asteroid we don't know about, but that
Yeah.
would be highly unusual for a comet to be decelerating. We still haven't seen those pictures that the Mars rovers were supposed to have taken of it 2 weeks ago. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on with that Three Eye Atlas still.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, we didn't touch on it. Again, I was a man on a mission, singularly focused on the my father-in-law's body of work, and sharing that. So outside that is the only thing we discussed UAP wise and otherwise, just sort of talking about the military and my career in the intel world and the circles I ran in, circles he ran in. Um,
Did
you
you
know,
arm wrestle him?
I did not arm wrestle. He looks good though,
Yeah,
and
I was thinking that.
yeah, I didn't realize, again, because again, I think with a lot of people, I've only really been into this subject, 4 months. And so he's a name, he's somebody I've certainly seen, you can't, but, when I sort of saw the other videos and even saw Age of Disclosure, I was like, oh man, Lou got fit. I couldn't believe it.
Well, let's bring John on because he's got a hell of a story to tell, and we'll put up some of these videos. But
Yes.
I wasn't too believing in this until I started to see some of these videos and listen to another interview of John's recently with an English podcaster. And he seems like a very credible person. And of course,
Yeah.
you wouldn't bring on anyone that you didn't find credible, and you're a very good judge of characters.
Absolutely.
So
Thanks. So
let's
we'll welcome John. There he is.
Hey, how's it
Welcome,
going?
welcome. Let's see. All right. Well, switch. I was trying to see if we get all three of us on here equally, but I guess there's
I'll
no.
let you guys go on. I'll just jump on here and there, so you guys can go on.
Yeah. Great. Oh, there we go, Hannibal. You got it. Great. No, I appreciate you being here, John. I mean, I saw the videos and started diving into that channel, and what really struck me and what I loved about what you were putting out there was the raw nature of it. And so what I thought we would do, during the time we have, is walk the audience through your story, through what it is you do and how you do it, to really paint the picture. And if I've got it correctly, you are not claiming or use CE5 or psionics,
No, I don't.
um, or any of you didn't go through a $6,000 program anywhere. You don't spend 500 a month on
Nope.
on advisors to hone your skills as it may be. This has been a purely organic evolution for you, if I'm capturing that correctly.
Yeah, that would be exactly the way to describe it. It's kind of a lot of common sense.
Yeah,
I had to think about it, and one of the questions I had was, well, obviously they want me to capture them, and I have to figure out how to do that. And after going through a whole shelf full of night vision and FLIR and Gen 3, um, full spectrum was funny. I was like, what a waste. I just
yeah.
really wanted to smash it in a million pieces because I spent almost as much money for that as I did for the night vision. Uh, and it was all grainy and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. Just
So let's
can't
go
make
back
it
to
up.
the beginning, right? Let's go back to D-Day as it might be, or even before that. Were you involved? Did you set out to investigate and capture and all of that, or what led you to the point where you said I'm going to make some investment in some high tier equipment?
Well, I was outside, and here in Florida, it's kind of rural area, but it's not so rural now. Everybody's moving down here. But anyway, at the time, we had a lot of open space and not a lot of lights and stuff to mess up the stars. And me and Dorothy be walking across the yard, and all of a sudden we would see an object that would zoom by real quick. And most people go, "Well, that was a meteor." And then after looking at it and thinking about it, I said, "Well, wait a minute, that's not a meteor. Meteor looks different than that because I've seen too many of them to know the difference." And after a while, I started sitting out there for a little bit, looking around and looking up, and I said, "Well, I probably should try to capture these because
Yeah.
obviously they're very intentionally doing this. No reason otherwise." So
Now, are you from Florida originally? You're a transplant there?
originally from Tennessee, I lived in Georgia for almost 23 years, and I got tired of the traffic. I really
Yeah.
did. Got tired of the stupid hot weather. It's so hot in Georgia that I had to move to Florida to cool off. And then, the snowstorms are ridiculous. You just watch everybody smash into each other's car because they have insurance. Oh, I got
Yeah.
insurance. Let's just wreck the car. And after a while of doing that, I was like, yeah, it's time to slow down the pace a little bit. So
Yeah. So you're there. So you're down in Florida. About how long were you living there before you started noticing these? Then.
immediately,
Okay.
yeah, almost immediately, I noticed the first ones I seen that I knew for real. It had to be something other than a star or satellite, meteor, whatever. They weren't going that fast, but what they did was they got the brightness of a welding torch. And obviously they were signaling each other, and then they were powering up, and then they would disappear. And I could still see them, but nothing like as bright as they were. And then I realized that was intentional stuff.
Right. So you're looking at them with your naked eye,
Yeah.
and they are visible enough
Yep.
that you can make out not an aircraft, not a
Yep.
helicopter, not they were visible enough, they were anomalous enough.
And way up in space too, so not in the atmosphere, out of the atmosphere.
Yeah. Okay. And so what was your now when the
And
videos
that's you pointing at them. Sorry to interrupt, but just for the big laser, that's your laser, right? That's not the
Yep.
UFOs shooting anything down at you.
That's a cheap little Chinese pinpointer. It looks like it's really powerful because the night vision picks it up really good. But if you were standing next to me at nighttime and I pointed that up trying to point out something to you, you wouldn't be able to see it. You'd be like, I don't see it. Where the hell's it at?
Yeah. So you start seeing these things, and then you had sort of walk through the evolution of the equipment, how you started recording them, and as you were doing that, what did you notice anything in the changes of the behaviors, the occurrences, frequencies, etc.?
It seemed to be about the same. It just got to the point where I could see more. That was the difference. And when I first started with the night vision I have now, the thing that was really crazy that was happening to me, I had these humongous objects that they just covered my whole view, completely covered it, and they were coming over so fast that all I could capture is one or two frames of it, but you could see the details of the fuselage when it would fly over.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them had 9 different cylinders in 9 different places. And the only reason you could see it, that it was visible, was the fog here. It was cutting through the fog when it went over my head.
Mm-hmm.
Not a sound, not a noise. No telling what speed it was at either.
Yeah.
It was just incredible.
So you've got over 2,000 videos there. So how many years you've been doing this?
Just right at 4 years.
All right. And so over that time, have you identified any patterns? Is there
Oh yeah.
particular weather conditions, environmental factors, things like that? Yeah.
The weather really doesn't matter. Not so much. I've had them come out of the storm clouds and come down real close, and I've recorded them. Visibility is a big thing, though. You're not going to be able to see, obviously, if you got clouds 3,000 foot off the ground.
Yeah.
And with me being right off the water, I pissed a lot of people off with these videos.
Yeah, we're going to cover that, Charles.
They'll get over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get some unnaturally low cloud cover, and then quote unquote the chemtrails. Good God,
Mm-hmm.
they've started to stop doing that now. Hopefully, I did my part in it. I actually recorded a few and put them up on YouTube. And,
Yeah.
of
And
course, most like
you're not generally close to an airport. You're not close to
80 miles
military
away.
installations.
No,
Generally, yeah,
80 miles away from the nearest airport. The nearest base is really even farther than that, and we do have a Space Force on the other coast. And
right,
trust me, I've watched them left and right and
yeah.
back and forth.
Is that the Patrick Air Force Base or Space Force Base?
I don't know which
Oh,
one it
okay,
is. I've heard they have two facilities over there, and I
yeah,
just I keep my nose out of it. I just soon don't have anybody show
right,
up at the gate going, "Hey, man, uh,
yeah.
we
So
we
so you start recording these, you start collecting them,
yeah."
and what was your first effort at making them public? Did you just go right to the YouTube? Did you try sharing them through quote unquote official channels or the community channels, so to speak?
Well, the first thing I did was I put a few up on YouTube, and I didn't know how to edit or segment the video, so I put up the full video, which is in 5 minute segments. And I was like, man, people are going to go to sleep waiting on this little UFO to show up.
Right.
Then later on, I figured out how to shorten them up and do the segments and all that. It was a learning experience, but I got through it. But it's just I would have to say it's kind of crazy the way they digitize this stuff. YouTube makes it look like it's a cartoon half the time.
Yeah.
They pixelize it, and it doesn't look anything like what I captured. I'm like, what the hell happened to my UFO? You can't see the dome on it. Where's the dome at now? Why would they do that? And then you realize you're getting censored, left and right.
Yeah. So you loaded them up on YouTube, but no other you didn't send them out to,
Um,
try to send them to Arrow or any of those organizations. You just putting them out there for the public to
I
digest.
was I started to get a little bit concerned because after about a couple weeks, I started to notice a pattern of where these objects were landing at, where they were going down to. And
Mhm.
it wasn't all of the objects, it was just a particular object. And then I kind of realized, I said, that must be a facility of some sort over there because they're not far enough to be out in the ocean. They're on land. And
Mhm.
then I was a little bit concerned that I was going to capture something I wasn't supposed to capture.
Right.
And at that point, I started reaching out, and nobody would respond to me at all. Nobody would answer me, and I had legitimate videos at the time. I mean, really legitimate. And I had the one that was really close that went over my head, and I mean, you could see the damn thing was like a Millennium Falcon. Now
Yeah.
that video has disappeared from YouTube. It's gone, and there's a couple more that are gone. And I guess YouTube thought, well, he's got so many videos, hell, he won't ever notice. Well, I noticed.
So and those other videos, similarly, you're saying they provide a level of detail that's
Yeah, very close up.
interesting.
Yeah, I had a guest out there one night, and I realized that one of the dangers of doing this, and obviously I'm pretty successful at recording UFOs. I can go out every night, record one or two or three, no problem. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
But the danger of doing that, if you got some say agency or some entity that may have not the best of intentions for these UFOs, well, guess what? I'm bait. All they got to do is park out here, watch me bring them in, and then take a pot shot at it,
Right.
or try to do whatever they're going to do. And I actually captured them doing just that.
So as far as your, process, let's say, a lot of people go out and they've got the flight trackers, satellite trackers.
Yeah,
Have you gone through that evolution to debunk yourself?
yeah. There's so many satellites right now that where the whole damn screen will be filled up with satellites if you turn
Right.
it on. And I mean, especially Starlink, because right over here is where they launch them from.
Right.
And I've captured all the launches for the most part, and some of the satellites, the last batch, I'm thinking 5 months, 6 months back, maybe in the past. The last batch of satellites that came up that went out had to be, they had to have some kind of propulsion on them because they were way too low in elevation to establish any kind of orbit at all. And I actually recorded it. I didn't upload it because it's enough damn confusion with the satellites anyway.
Yeah.
But you could see the string of them coming all the way across, and they were very low. And there's no way in the world that they're going to go around the whole world. And I didn't capture them on the initial launch. I captured them after they've been up doing their orbits. Was when I captured them.
So Mac had a question here, and he said, "Gene, have you had black helicopters hover over your place after these interests?" So I'll say for me, with relationship to my father-in-law's work, yes, I've had black helicopters over my house, and there was one that was really close, and it was within days before I had my FBI visit. But this is probably more directed towards John. Have you had any helicopters hover around?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've had a few of them come by. I've had them hit the yard with infrared, which I thought was hilarious. But you know, I hate to change the subject, but this little orb that's in this video you're showing right here,
Yeah, please.
this thing shows up all the time, and I tried my best to debunk it. I tried my best to ignore it. There's no ignoring the thing. The thing is here. I mean, it's the size of a basketball. Is the size of it. The only reason I know that is it's went up to the treetop that's 40 feet away, and you can actually measure it.
Yeah.
And
so that's what I was going to ask you. You talked, you said at first these were obviously in space. But then obviously you see a lot of them size-wise seem to be much closer.
Yep.
Within the atmosphere, let's say, and obviously you say you have the ones that you can grab the detail on. Is there has that been an evolution over time of the closer and closer, more available to you as you're out there doing this?
Well, I guess I could start off by saying that I spent 2 years thinking maybe I had a chip. Maybe they put an implant in me or something. Maybe they could read my mind. I sit there and I thought of all the possibilities. And if you watch YouTube videos and you're watching UFOs, you've heard everything under the book. It's the reptilians. It's the chicken aliens. It's the bird aliens. It's the snake aliens. It's oh my God, it's the Nazca mummies are doing it. I mean, literally, you've heard it all by now. And I sit there and I thought about it in the scientific point of view and common sense. I said, well, how in the hell are they going to be able to figure out where I'm looking at? How would they know to come into outer space, come into the atmosphere, do a maneuver, go right back out in the little view of my night vision? Because my night vision is not wide angle. It's very narrow.
Right.
I have a very narrow angle or very narrow view of the sky. I can't see very much of the sky at all. And there's an advantage to having it that way because you get more detail out of it, especially with the high definition digital. And but I sit there and I was like, man, I just can't figure this out. How in the hell they know this? And it was amazing, that they were able to do that. And not only were they able to do that, my night vision has a little tiny red dot right in the middle of it, aperture. They could line up with that aperture and appear where that aperture is and fly out of the scene.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's just showing off. That's all that is. That's just showing off. How in the hell are they doing that? How would they be able to line that up so perfectly like that?
Right.
And one night I'm sitting there, and it's probably 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm about half asleep, looking up. I already captured more than enough. I'm just there for extra bonus round, And about that time, my screen turns neon green, and it made me jump. I almost fell out of my chair because it's a black and white night vision I have. There's nothing colored to it at all. And for this thing to be spitting out neon green out of the eyepiece like a Ghostbuster ghost trap, I was like, what the hell's going on? And then I realized that they're the ones doing that, and they're letting me know that, hey, dummy, we're hacked into that. That's how we know where you're looking at. And I'm like, good Lord, how long did it take me to figure that out? I felt like an idiot.
So
I really did.
You talked about, the questioning yourself and that, did you have an implant? Did you have anything like that? Is there anything in your background, your post Florida career? Was there, family history, family interests?
No, not really. I grew up in a rural area in Tennessee, so
Yeah.
we farmed, and we really never seen anything that was weird.
Yeah.
Dad had seen a UFO one night when he was out fox hunting with my grandfather, and he talked about how the star went up and down and back and forth, and and nobody really thinks anything about that. And then my grandma talked about them seeing lights back in the early 1900s, turn of the century, and they affiliated it with people dying, like neighbor would die or something, and there's a light in the distance, and the light would join another light, and it would just go on. And they're like, oh, somebody came and got their spirit and took it up to heaven, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And really never attributed any of that stuff. And then this is interesting story, but it's true. I mean, I'm not the swiftest person in the world to figure things out, but I do keep at it. I'm persistent until I figure it out one way or the other. But when I was a kid, I was terrified of the dark. I mean, just terrified. I mean, time to go to bed, run to the bed, pull the covers over my head, that kind of crap.
Yeah.
And never really knew why. I was scared of the dark, but a lot of kids go through that, I guess, when you're younger. And we moved to Memphis, Tennessee. And you remember the abduction with the two gentlemen that were fishing?
Yeah.
I forget the
Pascagoula with Calvin Parker. Yeah.
Well, anyway, that night I had just climbed into bed. I mean, literally climbed into bed. I wouldn't even close my eyes, try to sleep or nothing. I just climbed into bed, and next thing I know, there's a laser image on my windowsill. Now, this is back in the 70s, I think 73, 74. And hell, I didn't know what a laser was. I've never seen a laser. I don't think we had lasers too much. And this thing was playing a cartoon on my window. And I looked over at it and I thought, what in the hell is doing that? Little kid, wow, that's freaking amazing. It's a cartoon dancing on the window. And I'm looking at the window, and then I look, and there's a dude sitting at the foot of my bed. Well, my dad was a pretty bad dude. I knew nobody was going to come in the house. And if they did come in the house, just stepping across the parquet floor, we had that wood parquet, the old style that was squares put together, you could hear this stuff pop and rattle as you walked across the floor. And I didn't hear any popping, no rattling, but there's a dude on my bed. What the hell? I look at the guy, and then I look back at the window to see if that laser's still going, and the laser was gone, and then the guy was gone. And then the next morning on the news, it was all over the news, those guys on there. And I remember the one guy, the newscaster was interviewing the poor guy, and she goes, well, sir, were you drinking at the time? And he's like, no, but we had a few afterwards. And I remember just laughing my ass off about that. I'm like, well, yeah, I'd have a drink too. Somebody drugged me aboard a alien ship. And within 2-3 nights, I was for sure my parents must have heard it. I'm like, good Lord, there's no way they couldn't hear that. And they had to wake them up. But I was sitting in bed and I was awake, and it was just exactly like somebody had parked a Gillette electric razor right on top of the house. It was vibrating the entire house, and it lasted for a couple of minutes. And it was gone, but I never seen anything. I never heard anything else. And I really didn't ever put that together as being out of the ordinary stuff, even though it was weird as crap. But, all these years went by and I was like, that was probably what that was. And because I
Mhm.
was a little kid, I mean, they're not going to show up with tentacles, bunch of little guys chasing after me because I mean I could run like the wind, man. I'd have probably put a hole in that window getting out of that bedroom. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I had a guy try to uh, snatch me one time when I was a kid, and that didn't work out for him too good. Man, I outrun that guy so bad. I was like, eat my dust, buddy.
So there might be. Hey, we've got Jay from the Galactic Family Podcast joining. Welcome, Jay. We So do you think on that incident more and think there might have been a abduction you don't remember, or that there was a
Yeah, I don't think
an interface? Have
it
you
was a
given it that much thought?
yeah, I don't think it was an abduction thing. I think it was probably a mess with me thing is what I think it was.
Hmm.
Afterwards, and I never put this together either. Uh, I used to have these seriously, really severe migraine headaches, all in the right side of my temple, and they just wouldn't stop. And it was so severe that it would make me cry, and then I would get sick. I'd throw up, and then I would have to lay down somewhere that was dark. I couldn't stand any kind of light or anything. I just dark bedroom, and I'd go into a coma, like sleep for 3 or 4 hours. I'd wake up, and if there was any food laying around, it was mine. And I
Yeah.
was just a kid when that started, and it was pretty serious because mom and dad took me to the brain guy and put me to sleep and did my brain waves and X-rayed and all that. And they were thinking brain tumor or something, and there was nothing there, nothing that he was looking for anyway. But
Yeah.
it lasted until I was about 16 years old, and then they just magically went away. I haven't had a migraine since. So, and the
Interesting.
other thing was I was just literally brain dead going to school, my younger years and junior high and stuff. Oh,
Mhm.
2 plus 2 is 6. I mean, good God, I was dumb as a rock. And then I couldn't remember anything. That's what aggravated me. I tried to study and I couldn't retain the information. And when I was sophomore in high school, it was like all of a sudden my brain turned itself on. And I can't explain that because anytime I take a test, I knew the ones I'd missed before I sit down.
Right.
And I
So
took
that's
the
almost
military.
yeah. You're roughly looking at the same time period as the migraines. Then you said about 16, so
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
in that couple of year window. So
yeah.
where you're at in Florida there, um neighbors nearby? Have you brought the neighbors out? Do you
Yeah, I've had friends
others
come
see
over.
similar things?
Yeah, I've had friends come over to think it's cool to sit out there with me, and a couple of them are wanting to bail off the truck where I'm recording this stuff at because they were scared to death. And I mean, I guess the most prominent guy that's ever been here was Wilbur Allen, and you might know him on the History Channel.
Mm-hmm.
Wilbur showed up out here, and day two, the UFO was right over the house when I went out the door, and I'm like, it's right here. Let's go, man. I'm all fired up. I'm ready to go, video this damn thing because it's so close, and it was close before. I'd already captured it within 1,000 feet, and I turned around and we had a little bit of problem with some wolf puppies that we were trying to get homes for that belonged to the neighbors, and they were out. They were literally climbing the fence. Well, they grabbed my britches leg, was pulling me down. I was about to fall over in the yard trying to record this thing, and finally I made it to the tailgate of the pickup truck, and I was able to record some of the UFO, and I hear Wilbur in the background talking and stuff, and I'm like, then I don't hear him anymore. I'm like, well, surely to goodness he got good video of that because it's so close. No, no. I asked Dorothy, I said, where's Wilbur? Oh, he locked himself inside the camper. I'm like, what the hell? Come find out, it scared him to death. And I'm like, well, did he think I was kidding about UFOs being here? I mean,
Right,
come on,
right.
you've seen the videos. But
Crazy. Um, and so we touched on it a little bit earlier, but just to break it down, those ideal conditions, the patterns, the things over the 4 years now you've been doing this, that you find interesting, that you've noticed seems to help it along, let's say.
well, it's just got to be clear, really. Um,
Yeah.
and no, I'll tell you this much: when the
You look
moon
at
is out, they won't
phases and
go
things
up.
like that,
Do what?
like a relationship to moon phases or
Yeah,
any of
yeah.
that anomaly.
The moon glare kills the night vision. It makes everything look milky, and they know it because they can see it. And for a while there, they wouldn't even appear. If the moon was out, I wouldn't even bother going outside.
Mm-hmm.
It was just too bright for them and too bright for me, and it was a waste of time. And if you're only getting 15 views on the damn video anyway, why are you going to sit out there? You know.
Right.
And it's like my last video. It had 12 views in 24 hours, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Why would
Yeah.
they do that? And then I realized, well, number one of the UFOs is going through a portal, and it's in very plain sight. You can see it going in. And in the screenshot, I actually captured the tail of the UFO while it's inside the hole, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the only thing that's visible. But yeah, I guess they don't want anybody seeing that. But oh well, too late. Already seen it. It's on
Yeah.
X. X has got.
So what do you think they are, John? What, in your opinion, are they?
They're doing a demonstration with the portals and stuff. They're showing their capabilities is what they're doing. They want everybody to understand it, that they're not coming from like somewhere, in your mind or something like that. They're physically showing us how they're able to travel as far as they can. Like if they lived in the Vega constellation, well, they just make their own portal and off they go.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it would be a very long trip for them.
But I think you said there was important too, because there have been a lot of people that I've heard sort of on the psionics and dog whistling side and things like that, who talk about one lone individual seeing these things even
Yeah.
within a group, and so
Yeah.
it's meant just for them. And you've never experienced that. You've had friends, neighbors, Wilbur out there,
Oh
and
yeah.
and it's consistent.
Yeah. It's been about the same. The only thing that I can say to people is, if you're in some badass mood and you're mad about the world or whatever, and you're just miserable, just you can go outside with a spotlight and 10 laser beams, and you can put up a sign, "ET come home." You're probably not going to see a damn thing.
Yeah, well, that's Matt could put that up for him.
And I've
Clear
had
intention, brain, and coherence.
yeah, I've had friends of mine that wasn't in the right frame of mind, and I'm like, dude, you're going through all this crap. You really don't need to be sitting out there with me, because I want to see some UFOs. I don't want to not see UFOs. And the way I know that's real is the moment they leave, within 2 minutes, there's the UFOs, and I'm like, they're just not into somebody not feeling happy.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to approach it like you were a 2-year-old kid, like, oh, look at the little bright light in the sky, that kind of stuff. When you lose that and you're like all scientific, like, hey, could you guys do a 360-degree turn? I want you to land over here in the yard and get out and let's drink a beer, and you just demand that. Well, they're not going to show up.
So Mac asked about the flashing at you, and I know I've
Yeah.
seen some of those videos. Yeah, if you can talk
Yeah,
about
they
that.
flashed to me last night. I went out for just a few minutes, and I moved my truck. I've got to do a little bit of work on the truck, so I had limited visibility, and I was looking south instead of looking north, and apparently it aggravated them, but I still had three of them flash at me. But I didn't post the video. If it doesn't, do something spectacular, I don't even bother posting it. Really, I just archive it and keep it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what are we looking at there with those chemtrails, right?
Yeah. Chemtrails, I felt stupid because I didn't notice them sooner. And one day I was like, what in the hell is going on? Because I'm a jet engine mechanic. I mean, aircraft mechanic by trade. And I'm a veteran of KC-135s in the Air Force too. I remember us trailing black smoke, but never white smoke like this. And
Right.
all of a sudden I was like, why the hell didn't I notice that before? And why is it turning into a cloud? And why is nobody really talking about this?
Mm-hmm.
And then we had that weird fog shit that was down here. And I was like, are you kidding me? What in the hell? And you go outside with a flashlight and it was like it was snow floating around in the air, but yet it's 70 degrees outside. So they intentionally were spraying some stuff. They need to just stop. I mean, these people are insane that does this anyway. They're all insane. Like,
so I just want to bring up Jeff's question again. So Jeff, talks about seeing the satellites, and and we touched on it a little bit earlier, and I did that because there's certainly ones that you see
you can
going
see them, you can
straight
see
and
satellite.
disappearing, but there's a lot of these that are making various maneuvers.
You got to think about a line of sight. When the sun goes down, what side of the sky is it on? And how high does the satellite have to be on the other coast to be visible? Well, the satellites will give you the answer for that real quick. So after that period of time is gone, you can literally say that anything that is on the other coast over there, if it's below that height, it's not a damn satellite. And if it is a satellite, it's self-illuminated, which there's not too many of them going around. So
I want to touch next on the what we had up in the title card, the shadow banning, because you're obviously putting great footage out there. There's a lot of people who know about it and who share it. Now, somebody had written or posted on one of the feeds where we had the title card, and they said, "Oh, just tell them get a pro subscription to YouTube."
Yeah.
So what, walk us through your, you already mentioned videos where you tend to have a lot of detail have disappeared.
Yep.
Walk us through though that your reasoning, and your ideas about the shadow banning aspects and what you're noticing and why you think it's happening.
Well, the first thing that I noticed over 2 years ago, I had this video that I captured. I think it was 4:30 in the morning, and I noticed early in the morning all these objects hauling ass to get over to the light side of the sky, because they were visible in the dark side of the sky, but they're quite invisible. As soon as they get in the light, you can't see them. They're so high up. And I was trying to capture some of those objects that were scrambling around, and I was in this particular spot, and before you know it, here comes a cigar, pops out of a portal sideways. I mean, not point to end, I mean sideways come out. And it came out at a really ridiculous speed, and the portal behind it was still open, and you could see the shadow from the portal was the same shape as the cigar was. Well, it goes a few frames and then it disappears. Whether it went into another portal or it went invisible, I don't know what it did, but whatever it did, I captured it. And I put the video up. The video was up for a good little while, and all of a sudden, poof, it is gone. And I guess it's one of those videos I just didn't think I would notice they were missing. And they were definitely missing. And it just aggravated me that I've got the video saved. on a hard drive.
Yeah.
But try going to find in all them 1,000 videos, which moment is that object coming out when you've got so many? It's just crazy.
Right.
And
Right.
first, I tried to organize them and straighten them out, and it's just too overwhelming. It was just too much. So I just archive them, leave them alone, and let them go anyway. So as long as I've got them saved up somewhere, they should be all right. The
Well,
one time that I
I'm
didn't,
working on some archiving systems and whatnot. If we get it up and running, we might have some interns available to go through
yeah.
them and properly archive the collection for
Well,
you.
they're welcome to do it all they want. Let me tell you
Yeah.
what. I go to sleep. I start dozing off, and I wake up slobbering on myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just tedious. I mean, a year ago I'd have been like, oh man, look at that one, look at that one. Now I'm like, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. So what
But,
is there any one, you mentioned the Millennium Falcon looking one, is that your favorite one, the one you're most proud of, the one that intrigues you
no,
the most?
the one that has been overlooked the most of all was my first large one. That's the one that's been overlooked more than any of the other ones. And the reason I say that, if you start pulling the video apart, just stop frame by frame,
Mm-hmm.
you can see all of the crap that is going on in that video at the same time. Now it's great. There's
What's
enormous
that one
UFO
called,
that's right
John?
there. Huh?
Sorry, what's that one called? The one that you're
Uh,
talking about, the large one.
if you go to my videos on YouTube and you look at the most viewed, it's the large hexagon video.
Okay.
Hannibal,
You'll see it. It's really
Hannibal
bright.
in the back office doing the hard research, keeping the
Yeah.
images coming up.
Yeah.
We
But
figured out a whole system to this show finally.
but anyway, if you take that video apart, scene by scene, frame at a time, that's the first time you'll see that little Lord Tinkerbell, the one I called Tinkerbell, showed up, and actually
Yeah, you
showed up
mentioned that a
twice.
lot.
It was right in my face, and I didn't even know it. You have to slow the video down to see the damn thing. It's so quick. But that
What
thing
can you
showed up.
tell us about Tinkerbell? Because I noticed that name popping up a lot.
Yeah, I didn't really know what the hell to think about it. I just knew what it was, and I knew it reminded me of that little red UFO that was on Close Encounters. And I was
You
like,
got the right
wait a
video up
minute, thing's like a freaking fairy, flying around so fast. If the Men in Black come, I will swallow my memory cards. That's funny.
Is this the correct video, John? The
Let's see. There's a long pause in there.
Let's see. I'll go back to so here are all your most popular.
Show me the
ones.
thumbnail, what the thumbnail looks like, and I'll let you know. The TV's not synchronized with my phone. The TV's
so
like
you
lagging
can't
way
see
behind.
these. You can't see what's showing up on the screen now. These are your most
No.
popular videos.
Yeah.
let's see if it catches up.
I think it's looking at the top one. It's just hard to see.
Oh, here it is. It says very close, enormous hexagon.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
There we go.
And there's a long pause in there too.
That's all right. You can
Because I really didn't want to edit it. I wanted to just leave it on there, showing that I wasn't expecting that. And what happened before that UFO ever showed up was incredible enough, because the first thing I hear this little airplane that's going down the coast to the west of me. And,
this is it here. This is the.
How big is that? What's the diameter of that? Would you?
It's got to be the size of a school bus, at least the size of a school bus. When I videoed it underneath the jets, the commercial jets, the airlines that come out of Tampa and stuff, I've captured it several times underneath it. And
what's the altitude, would you say?
4,000 feet, maybe 5,000 feet. But in this video, it gets within 1,000 feet. You can see how close the damn thing is by the background stars. It's just right there. It's like, Jesus Christ.
And to the naked eye, is it bright? Are there lights coming off of it, or is this
Oh,
just
it's bright as it's like looking at it was like looking at a welder. Literally, it was so bright. How in the hell they didn't have a bunch of calls in on this? I do not know.
Yeah. Is the
But
commercial airline just flying by, not paying attention to this? That's what I don't understand. Like, how can there be commercial airlines flying
yeah,
and everyone's just ignoring this?
I
well,
don't think they ignored it. I think it just never got public that they seen it. Uh,
Okay.
it
so
happens.
is
It
it
happens all the
illuminating the
time, though.
ground? Is it
I know.
illuminating the ground where you're at, or is it just
I
illuminating
didn't.
itself?
I didn't even look at the ground. I just
Yeah.
kept my eye on it because I was afraid it would go ploop and gone. And I was disappointed. It started to leave. I'm like, why are you leaving? Come back. What the hell, man? Come on. I've been out here waiting for months on end looking for you, and you finally get over here and you're going to leave? Come on. At least get out.
And you said like a welder's torch, so it had a bluish tinge to it, or just
No, it's just pure
bright?
white. It was pure white. I thought it was an extra bright landing light. I had my night vision was warming up, but next to me, and I turned it on to let the circuits warm up and stuff because it'll heat up,
Yeah.
and it keeps my breaths from showing up on the lens in the back or anything. And anyway, when you come out of a temperature controlled house like with air conditioning and stuff, that night vision, if it's in the room, will be real cold, and when you go out in the Florida heat, it'll fog up the end of the lens. It'll start sweating, and I'm like, man, I wish this thing would hurry up and get hot and just heat up. You can't see through it. I keep wiping it off, and a few minutes I'm used to it. I just turn it on, let it heat up. So that was what I was doing, and that little plane that was going south actually pulls back the throttles. You could hear the thing go meow.
Mm.
And it's headed straight for this UFO that turns and comes towards me. And that was when I grabbed the night vision. I'm like, what the hell is that? Are they about to have a wreck? I just thought it was another aircraft. That was what I thought it was. And when it got closer, I'm like, oh shit, that is not an airplane. So,
and you spoke earlier about the area you see them going down to. Is there, without causing chaos, is there any general description you're comfortable giving?
They've got some craft too that is very similar to the satellites, is what they look like when they're going across, except they're not satellites. And they're not really, really fast like the UFOs are, but they're still pretty speedy. But and they're blue. All of a sudden, they've all turned blue, and that's what's over there. That's what we're using. And I just don't make a big deal about it. And I don't even record the blue ones at all. I just don't do it because I know what they are. I don't give a damn how shiny they are. I don't want people to be misled thinking it's something else that it's not. And
some of those in there that I know you get like cigar shaped ones.
I
heard you say the cigar shaped are possibly ours, right? You think that some of them are ours? Why is that?
They got little pieces sticking out of the side of them. The ones that I've captured for so long, you could see the energy bands around the side of them. If you look at them, pretend like you're looking at a wood screw, you'll see the windings going around the tube. And the faster the thing is going, the further apart those threads are. And that was the first thing I noticed was the slow one would have a bunch of windings going around it. You could see, and it's just pure energy, like plasma or something being shot off of it. But yeah, that was the difference in those. And when they introduced the high definition editing, and where you could clear up some of your pictures that you have in the video, I put a couple in there that were pretty close anyway. They were really clear, and hell, you could see the detail on the side of them, and enough to see what looked like a pitot tube sticking out. And there was two of them. There was one in the front, one in the back, and according to Greer, that's hours. So now whether or not he's right or not, I don't know. But he was the first one that said it a long time ago that if you see a cigar and it's got these appendages sticking out of it, it's not alien. So
Yeah.
I have no reason to doubt that.
Do you think you're just going to keep seeing this forever, or do you think more government technology is going to come in now that they know that you're seeing this and start investigating it themselves and it's going to stop? Or what do you think the future is going to hold? Because 4 years is a long time, and you're even saying now you're kind of getting bored of it. What do you expect to happen from all of this?
It's not really a boredom thing. It's just watching my video thing. I don't mind being out there. I'll never get bored of that. It's just watching the video screen, and it's like, okay, there's a cigar again. Yep, yep. It'd be kind of like watching your family portraits every month.
Yeah.
Open
But is
up
it
your
going to
album
escalate? Do you think? Do you think it's going to escalate where they're going to? Do you think there's something in there, for instance, or is that just energy balls? Do you think there's actual beings in any of these things?
I think there's beings in some of them. I don't think there's beings in all of them. This object here was, I will put it this way, it's huge. It's hard to do the spatial orientation to where you can tell how big it is.
Right.
That sucker right there was huge, and it's not the same as the hexagon one either. It was a completely different object,
Right.
and the
With
energy
the
off
hexagon,
of
you
it.
said that was at about 4,000 feet. So this one here might be 10.
Man, this one here may even be bigger than the other one.
Yeah.
And all I know is this guy here, it actually would show up. It would come across just to be over the top of me. And I captured it recently, most recent. I just happened to look up, and the thing had been right over my head, and I didn't even know it. And I captured it going up into the sky, and then when it gets up into the edge of space, then it turns and it goes across. And it was so funny. I had that video, and I had so many comments on it and stuff, and there was a couple of them were negative, and then I realized that's a paid opposition saying that stupid stuff. It's not somebody normally would come up and go, "Oh, that's the International Space Station." I'm like, I don't think so, unless you want to resupply it with a rubber band and a bungee cord. I don't think that's an International Space Station. It's too low.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those accounts you can identify now.
Yep.
A lot of common characteristics that they're just out there to foo-foo on things.
Anyway, it was a big thing, and it was kind of funny at the time when it happened. But yeah, Mick West showed up, and he wanted me to supply the time and the date and the location of when the video was captured, and I guess somebody had refused to do that before, and he made a big deal about it online and stuff. And I just spit it right out. I was like, "Well, I'm here. This is where I'm located, and this is what time it was, and it's time stamped on the screen, and this is when it happened." And when it was all said and done, I think it was 12 hours later, he leaves one comment on it, and I mean the suspense, it was killing everybody. I'm like, what's this guy going to say? Is he going to say it's a bug? I mean, what? Which way is he going to go? And then all he says is, "Nice video," and then he leaves, and I'm like, shit. One way I was kind of disappointed, but another way I'm like, well, he didn't have a lot of room to work with, because when I captured it, it was going up. It wasn't going across.
Yeah.
Can't pin that on a satellite if it's over your head and it's going straight up into space.
And you mentioned about the if you've had people out there with other equipment trying to measure things and haven't had luck, but it's just sort of when you go hang, they come out.
Yeah. I've had a friend of mine's come over quite a bit. You can't mention politics with him, or you'll have to mute the microphone, because boy, he gets so carried away and fired up. He's like, "F this and F that, and that son of a bitch," and man, he just goes on and on. It's hilarious. I'll forget to turn the sound back on, and I'll be out there recording the very next night, and I'm like, "Where the hell is the sound at?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I had to mute that thing." But yeah, he seems to draw them pretty good, but he never records them. I'm like, dude, dude,
Mm.
you got to record it. Hit the record button.
But
Come
you
on.
haven't had anyone out with like other scientific equipment and measuring, geomagnetic fields and EMF and all that kind of stuff yet.
It's like, you were talking about the Black Hawk helicopters coming over. That little orb. I captured that little orb doing something to one of those that I couldn't publish it. I couldn't upload it. I just couldn't do it. It went up there and it was banging on the damn helicopter, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh shit! Somebody's gonna think I'm driving this thing or something. Somebody will say something stupid. You've got a drone, or something. And I'm like, I'm just sitting out here recording it, minding my own damn business. I can't help it. The helicopter flew over me, but it didn't hang around very long. I'll put it that way. And there's a video of that little orb shaking I've got a Stewart and Stevens troop transfer truck outside, and it's so heavy and big and high that it keeps me out of the mosquitoes, and it's stable enough to where it doesn't move. And I just set up and record there, and plenty of room to sit down, and I put a recliner up there, and
Nice.
it works out really, really good. Well, a friend of mine the night before was talking about, well, we need to capture this orb and we'll be famous to do shaving cream commercials and shit like that. And I'm like, well, what do you mean capture? Yeah, we can make an EMP, and we'll blast it and we'll capture it, man. We'll be famous, it'll work. And I'm like, I don't think so. I'm thinking this little thing here put a donut hole right through your chest where you even know what's going on. So I'm out there the next night, and I really didn't even notice it at the time when it happened, because we have large dogs, and one of the dogs is my wolf dog, and they get really running really fast. She can probably do 30 miles an hour flat-footed without even trying. I mean, I've seen her run, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, the dog's hair is going to fall off. Well, anyway, I'm out there on the truck, and all of a sudden, boom, and the whole truck shakes. And I thought in my head that one of the dogs had actually hit the truck and shook the truck. And then later on, I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense, because this thing is too heavy to shake. How in the hell would they shake the truck? And I got to looking. I didn't know I videoed the thing at the time, but that orb came down and struck the side of the truck and shook the whole truck without putting a dent on the truck or anything. And I mean, it was serious enough. Me and my buddy got our metal detectors out. We went out there and we dug up the freaking yard thinking there would be pieces of a little metallic ball out there. And it was nothing in the yard. And then it was real short time from that I realized why it didn't leave a mark on the truck, or why it didn't, get damaged when it shook it. And the thing has some kind of force field around it.
Interesting.
So you can see the little shell, inside the object. You can see it in the picture.
Yeah. Oh, there's a helicopter there. I'm just checking on the chats as we just go past a little bit past an hour here.
Is that a helicopter chasing one of the orbs? Is that chasing the orb there?
That's two objects. There's one, let's see, what was the name of the video? Stealth. Oh, there's a stealth helicopter right there.
Cigar flyby.
Yeah. That thing was spookily quiet when it came over. It's real quiet. I could barely hear it.
Do you think all visitors are the same? Do you think it's all from the same type of aliens that are flying near you?
No, there's a whole smorgasbord. Just the way they act and the craft that they're in, it's just totally different one to the other one. It's like I have a cigar that comes over that has a plasma discharge coming out the back, and it's the only one that does that. The other ones don't do that. And then there's the old style that have the little antenna sticking out the top of it. You can see it's a flying saucer. And then you've got the other ones that are really flat. And then you've got these long objects that, as fast as they come over, you really don't know what the hell they're supposed to look like. And to this day, I still really don't know what they look like.
Just quick, somebody comment about YouTube high in the comments. I'll just not to defend YouTube. I'll just say we're streaming over several YouTube channels. So depending on which chat you're in, you may or may not see all of the chats, and we might be pulling them from different streams. So this goes over Hannibal and the Hannibal UFO and the Wicked Alien YouTubes, and we're also simulcasting on X. So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll give YouTube the benefit of the doubt.
I don't think X comments show up. By the way, I don't think X comments show up on YouTube.
No, they don't. Yeah, I haven't. I think there might be a way I can do it with one of the other things. I haven't gotten that sophisticated and all this yet.
What do you think the 3-eye atlas is, John? Before we go here, that big object that may or may not be a comet, showing a lot of signs that it's not a comet heading towards the sun right now.
I would have to say it's a distraction. Is what I would think it is. The reason I say that, I've got a large telescope, and it's an older one. It's like from late 60s, early 70s. I forget the name of it, but it was the company that Bosch and Lomb bought out back then in that day. But I bought it for a song and a dance, but it's huge. It's the look through, I forget the style you call that, where you don't have to look at it from the side. You just look straight through it. It's just cast a grain. Anyway, the image is upside down. Other than that, it's good to go. Cameras and everything just go right on the back of it. Well, I was out there looking at the moon one night, and I see a giant cigar launch off of the dark side of the moon going out into space like you would be watching a Star Trek movie. It looked just like that. And at that point there, I said, anything that's alien looking or anything like that, it's not going to look, it's not going to be unnoticeable, really. You'd be able to tell the difference between that and a meteor and everything else. And it wasn't very much long after that. I was out in the yard, and I was trying to look at Mars or whatever planet was available. I had my solar system set up on my phone where I could just point and shoot and look up and identify what planet it is. And the only thing visible was Neptune. And I never looked at Neptune before, but I was game, to see how close I could get to it. And I put my big objective lens in it. I focused on it. And when I got focused on the planet itself, I reached and I grabbed the extra strong magnification eyepiece, and I just slide it in place and clamp it down. And you don't have to focus very much, but the main thing is you don't have to move the telescope. You move the telescope that far away, millions and millions of miles away, you're going to lose the object. And just luck of the draw, there's the Jetsons flying across the damn solar system. You could just see them just going right across. I had about 6 seconds of view in that, and if I'd have had a camera on that would have been one of my major video captures of the world, because it was so far out into space. And but looking at that and looking at the atlas and everything is just ridiculous. It's a complete different thing when you look at the objects.
Crazy.
There's bunches and bunches and bunches of objects everywhere.
Yeah,
that are moving all the time. I mean, all the time.
I think we can all agree with Jay. Galactic Family Podcast here. Just keep recording and keep posting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody will join in and continue to share. I know, we're in October now. I'm up here in the Boston area, so I'm always looking for an excuse to go down to Florida, John. And if you'd add me, I'll be happy to bring over the beverages of your choice and spend an evening with you.
You might need them certain nights. You never know.
That's good. I'm up. I'm up. I am open-hearted and up for the challenge.
You
That
got to
would be
bring
an
your
interesting
fishing pole.
live stream.
That would. Hannibal, you're up there in the Great White North. You could probably use a little time. A couple of days
Yeah,
in Florida might do you good.
definitely. But yeah, no, that's very interesting. Keep up the good work, John. That was very interesting. I'll let you guys close this off. It's been great hearing your story.
Yeah, let me know. I can just keep going and going and going.
All right. No, that's great. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. And Hannibal, thank you as always. Yeah, I'll try not to get abducted. You never know. It might spit me back up. I'll get injured on the fall. Um, but yeah, thank you so much, John. I mean, we'll certainly check in with you again, and we'll be watching what's going on. And once more, Hannibal, thank you. Shout out again to UFO Tar Heel. I'm filling the spot while he's out there being a good dad, doing the kids football things during football season. So we look forward to getting him back on here. He just had his first sighting in North Carolina. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, but we got to get him on here when he's got a free day when we get him back on here. Hannibal, anything else you want to finish up with?
No, John, just let us know where the fans can follow you. Where
Yes.
can they look you up to stay up to date with your latest videos?
Yeah, just be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I always put them up there anyway, but on X is a good place to go too. But
What is it again? Florida? I'm going to put it in the chat here so people can see it.
I need to
The
get
YouTube
back to sniffing that glue. What the hell, man? Really? You think I sniff glue?
Like I
I
said,
swear, some of these people leave some of the damnedest comments.
Yeah, well, they're not going to say that to you in person, right?
No, I'm 6'4", so yeah, usually not.
And you probably have rifles there if you're ex-military, I would imagine, and you're big dogs.
We don't have no rifles. Hey, you ask.
You're on your channel again on YouTube's Florida
Florida Real UFO.
Florida Real UFO. Florida Real UFO on YouTube. Look at that. I can't even
You
spell
just keep
Florida.
that sitting beside your chair in case any of those orbs get out of hand, I guess, or get too close.
Nah, we have some people that have gone through multiple houses over here, and they made it to our house and haven't went any further than that. And we just don't understand why they don't like seeing a 12-gauge shotgun pointed in their face when they're going through a crap in the yard. But I got a fenced-in yard. It's a large place, and no trespassing signs. And I'm sorry if you're a meth head or a crackhead, this is not a good place to come rob. It's just not. I was sitting here. We're watching Justified of all programs to be watching on TV, and there's a guy going through our yard out here, and through our stuff, trying to steal tools and stuff. And we were, let's see, the cop said we were the sixth house that he had visited to, and we were definitely the last because he didn't go anywhere once he got here. And I felt sorry for the guy. I gave him some drinking water and stuff before they arrested him and pulled him out of the yard. But yeah, he was on meth head. So
oh boy, terrible.
I have no respect for any of those people like that. And yeah, I'd rather be armed as I had not. So people say what they want to, but
I get it too. People are always shocked, when I tell them and I'm open about it. I said I'm suburban Boston. I said I'm armed around my house and out my backyard area and all the rest of it. And so not as young as I used to be, but still pretty good. Still,
I don't know. I'm getting older, and the older I get, the more I realize that I might actually need some help sometimes. But I don't think so, not yet. But you never know.
Well, how the saying goes: "Beware of the old man in professions where men die young."
Yep. We got the dogs, and I got my little wolf here, and she takes care of stuff pretty good. And for the most part, nobody can really do anything they're not supposed to be doing that they don't know about it, and they bark. So the moment they bark, you know something is up. And most
Exactly.
people, they won't come in your yard if they got 3 grown dogs looking at them. But
Exactly. All right. Well, you stay safe down there. We'll stay in touch.